In this video I'm going to show you exactly how to design product pictures that increase your conversion rates and your perceived value of your dropshipping store. I haven't really seen anyone talk about this point in depth, which in my opinion is really important to running a successful dropshipping store. Just copy and pasting pictures from AliExpress isn't enough. If you really want to set yourself apart from the competition and succeed in dropshipping, then you need more than that. I'm going to go through 2 examples showing you one-to-one how I design these product pictures and my thought process behind it. The software I use for designing my product pictures is Canva. Canva is free to use with some limitations, but it doesn't really matter. First of all, we will define what kind of product pictures we're gonna make. We want to use the product pictures as an opportunity to not just show off the product itself, but also to use product pictures to showcase reviews, before and afters, how to use, benefits, advantages, special features, frequently asked questions, product variations, and much more. Product pictures I'm going to use for this example are the variations, the comparison to competitors, the specifications, reviews, and advantages. Now what we want to do is go on logo, because we want a 1x1 frame. And then we're going to collect all pictures from Alibaba and AliExpress we find and think are good for our product pictures and going to add them on Canva. And here I'm inserting the first product variation. I'm going to be removing the background to look more clean. I'm going to add the name of this plush toy to make it seem more wholesome. Here I'm using the Poppins theme, which I really like to use because it's just very sleek and modern. And I'm adding the weight of the product because it's very important for the customer to know. And now I'm going to add the colors, which I can do easily from the picture. I'm going to add a primary color and a secondary color so they don't compete with each other. And now we can add a product background. This already looks good, but not good enough. What we can do is kind of add a floor and a background. And we can just search for a picture like that on Canva. And here the floor doesn't really match with the item, so I'm just going to make the floor bigger. This already looking good, but the background color isn't perfect yet. So what we can do is go into edit photo and then adjust, and then scroll down to color edit. Now I'm playing with the size of the text. Now what I want to do is add a shadow of the product. So I'm going to just blur the product. I'm going to copy it and then blur it with an intensity of about 50. And then I'm going to edit the photo and adjust it and just turn down the brightness, up the contrast, just make it black. And then I can play with the transparency and put it at like about 20 is good. Now I'm happy with how the shadow looks. It gives it a realistic look, and I'm just going to play a bit with the transparency so it doesn't pop out too much. Now I'm going to add the branding, which I really like to do because it just looks very custom that way. And now the first variation is done. So what I'm just going to do is duplicate it and just change it for the other variations. And now I'm just going to play with the colors, product picture, and I'm going to have great looking variations that all look similar. This is the end product. I added a new name for each variation, changed the background to match the color scheme, and of course the font also changed color. And I kept the theme of the primary color and the secondary color, so it looks very, very clean. What I'm going to do next is add a benefit page. I'm going to add the benefits of poppies, that's how the brand is called, and play with the boldness. I like the bold variation, and I'm going to make it a bit more bold. I'm still using the Poppins themes just to keep it very consistent. That's also really important. I'm going to add the main color of the store, which is kind of a pinkish color, because you don't want to add too many colors. If you add too many colors, it doesn't look good and it's not going to end up clean at all. Now we can go to elements and scroll down to charts and add kind of a circle percentage chart and adjust the colors there. I'm going to duplicate that 3 times because I'm going to add 3 kind of benefits. And here in the benefits, I'm combining social proof with the benefit itself. I'm saying we reported improved anxiety relief with poppies. And then I'm going to add a percentage of users that experience that. What's also really important, Canva lays out this frame and you don't want to go too far to the edges. You really want to keep your graphics in that frame. For the second one, I added experience easier sleep thanks to poppies. And for the last one, I'm going to eliminate their doubt that it's not really going to work for them. So I'm just going to say reported no benefits using poppies, and I'm going to keep the percentage low there. I'm going to emphasize the important points so people can skim over it very easily. Now that I added the percentages, what I didn't do is adjust the chart. You can adjust how full it is, but I didn't do that. I forgot to do that, but that's how it looks finished. Very nice with the benefits and the social proof. Now for the next page, I'm going to show the specifications. I'm going to show the two different sizes and their weight. Here I'm adding the size and the weight of the smaller product or the smaller variation on top. And I'm going to take the color for this bigger variation because that's of course the color of thse in that example. Now I added the specific specifications for the two different sizes with their respective color so the customer can directly see what kind of size is meant there. And I'm going to add the blur again on the second picture to add this kind of shadow effect and play with the transparency so the shadow isn't too harsh. I like how this is looking. What I want to add now is kind of like a ledge. The bigger variation is kind of laying on because it looks really empty this way and it doesn't really make sense that they're floating in the picture. What I'm going to do is add another product background. I'm going to adjust the size again, but this time I'm not going to add the background, just the floor, to make it kind of seem like it's on a ledge. I'm going to set it as a background. It looks a bit pixelated, so I'm just going to make that picture smaller. I'm going to play with the transparency, and I like how now the bigger variation is kind of on a ledge. I'm going to make it smaller because it was a kind of pixelated when I enlarged it that much. And now onto the next product picture. I just duplicated the one before so I can just put in the new text very easily. Here I'm going to add customer reviews, and it's very good to add customer reviews scattered around the website, not just at the bottom. You want to add them in the description, add them in the product pictures, so the potential, like the visitor, definitely doesn't miss out on them. Here very simple, just added stars and like kind of a verification symbol. And very important, you want to go into different pain points, so to say. So I went into sleep, anxiety, comfort, and things like that. And I really like how this is looking. Now I'm going to add the last product picture, comparing our product with the competition. And I'm going to make it very clear that our product is the one to go and that the competition just doesn't have the same quality as we do. Now I'm going to add another blur effect on the product so I can add the shadow. Same process as before. Just make it black, play with the transparency, and set it as the background. Now I can just copy what I did before, so I don't have to redo it. Just gotta paste it in and adjust the size. I purposely took a kind of like flimsy picture of that product, so the store visitor can really see the difference. Now I'm gonna play with the highlights. I kind of want to make the product from the competitors dull looking, and our product very vibrant. What I'm gonna do now, going to adjust, just increase the vibrance, and here this one is looking too dull, so I kind of adjust that, but I like how that is looking now. Now I'm adding the text. Instead of using standard green and red, I'm going to use the green and red I have for my products just to keep it way more consistent and clean. Now again, for the check mark, I added from the elements from Canva. I want to change that to the green from the product pictures. I'm going to play with the sizing and then add the text from before and add the first advantage. Now what I can do to save time is just copy that and make sure you have the same distance from each kind of level. Now you can just edit the text and add your advantages. And here, if it's just two columns, make it centered again. Now that that's done, we can go to the competitor side. And here we're of course going to use a cross instead of a check mark. We're going to use a similar looking style. I think that's even the same style from the same creator. Kind of this rounded style. You don't want to have one kind of 90-degree style and one rounded style. That doesn't match. And here again, not this harsh red that you don't see anywhere else in the product pictures. We want to keep it consistent and use the same red that we have in the other product pictures. Now I'm just copying it down. Make sure that the cross and the check mark are the same size. And now you can just add in your disadvantages of the competitor. Great, now we're done, and this ours and others page is looking great. This is how all the product pictures are looking. I'm really happy with the end results. Looks really clean and really custom, and just give the store visitor no other option than to buy. Now moving on to the next example, I'm going to show you a more technical product. This is an infrared wand type of product to sculpt the face. You'll see in a second how the product looks, and I'm showing you this example because the way you design product pictures is of course different for a more technical product. So the brand is called Sleek Wand. I'm just duplicating this page to have the correct background, adding the branding already in the beginning at the bottom right as I usually do. Now I'm going to paste in the first product picture. I'm going to adjust the size And I want to get rid of the background because the blue background doesn't match with the color scheme of the brand at all. Now that the background is removed, we can play with the product image again. I'm going to increase the highlights and lower the clarity because as you can see, when you go with the clarity really high, it looks really crusty. And when you go low, it looks really clean and professional. And now I'm going to add the heading, the sleek one, and I'm going to use the pop-in theme again as usual. I'm going to enlarge the heading, kind of play with the line spacing, make it white and centered. And I'm adding this italic effect and this kind of lift effect, but very subtle. Now I'm adding a glow effect, which just really gives the product picture a pop. I'm just adjusting where to put the glow because the product picture isn't necessarily centered, so I put it a bit down and then I set it to the back. I really like how this looks. What I want to do now is just make the text behind the product, so it really gives this like 3D depth effect. I'm really happy with the first product picture, and now I'm going to move on to the technical things of the product. I'm going to go into the benefits of the red light therapy because, again, like with the product before, you want to answer all objections that could come to the store visitors in advance. Because when they go in the store, they will think, what does this even help me do? And we just answer it for them directly in the product pictures where they can just scroll to the right. And now I'm playing with the product picture itself, making it a bit more glow to match it to the product picture before. And I'm adding the shadow background like usual, playing a bit with the size. And now I'm going to add the benefits that I already prepared. And what you don't want to do for the logos is have logos with really fat lines and some with really thin lines. You want to keep it like the same kind of aesthetic on the logos as you can see here. And of course keep the descriptions really short. Now I'm just going to duplicate the page and add the branding before I do that. And now I'm going to go into how to use. It's really trivial, but I'm just still going to add it to the product pictures because that's another like objection question that a potential customer could have. Here add the text and I'm adding this product picture. I'm going to do the same as before, kind of play with the brightness, clarity and so on, and add a shadow. Here for the text, I just said you should use it 5 minutes per day, and I emphasized that in the text. Here I don't like how it was to the left, so I turned it to the bottom, gives it a nice like vertical effect, and it looks really clean in my opinion. Now I'm adding this blur effect again, doing the same as before, making it black and putting it to the background and playing with the transparency. Now that that's done, we can go to the next product picture, and I'm going to showcase a before and after. Duplicate the page again, so we can easily edit into the text. I'm going to delete what I don't need anymore, and I'm going to add the contents. For that I'm adding this image. I'm removing the background because the background doesn't fit with the brand colors again. I'm adding this shape in the background because I think this can give the image more depth. I like how this looks, but I don't like the before and after, so I'm going to find a way on how I can eliminate that. What you can use is kind of frames in Canva, which is really useful. I'm trying this curved square frame, which fits really well in the end. Now I kind of played with how the image sits the best. I'm centering it and just adding a white line just to make that split of the before and after. Now that I'm happy with how this looks, I'm going to add the before and after text. Here I'm just adding a shape and putting text into it and making it bold. And this is how the before and after page looks. Looks really good in my opinion. I really like the end results of all the pictures. This is how it looks in the end on the site. Looks really clean, fits really well with the color scheme of the website, and is really short and concise. In my last video, I showed you how to create irresistible offers like these to really give your store another conversion rate booster. Now that was how I designed great looking product pictures. I hope you could learn a lot from this video and have something you can implement right now. If you don't want to have the whole hassle of designing product pictures yourself, I have templates in Imperium Club that you can use and just edit for yourself and add your own branding and your own text, which you can then use to directly put in your store. The link to Imperium Club with many other valuable resources is down below. And if you want to join the free Discord, you can do so in the link down below as well. Subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss out on more value-packed content. Thank you for watching.